Welcome to my channel, From Here to There Sojourners. If you are new, I extend a warm welcome to you. And if you are one of my regular viewers, welcome back. Sojourners, it is such a beautiful day outside. The wind is blowing and the air is so cool and fresh. In this video, we will be looking at how we can use what we have to make a difference in our lives. The story is told of a man who was lost in a desert. He became hungry and wandered around for many days without finding any food. As he walked along a narrow road, he found an empty bag that had been dropped by a previous passerby and swung it over his shoulder as he prayed loudly. Thank God for giving a starving man an empty bag. He continued walking and found an old hunting bow with a broken string. He picked it up and put it in his bag as he shouted, "Thank God for giving a starving man a hunting bow with a broken string." Further down the road, he saw an old fruit tree without fruits. He broke off a few dry branches and placed them in the bag he had just found. Again, he prayed lustily, "Thank God for leading a starving man to a dead fruit tree." He walked a little further without finding any food, but his faith in God remained strong. Then he saw an old dented cooking pot. He picked it up, brushed off the dust. As he put it in his bag, he prayed forcefully, "Thank God for giving a starving man a dented old pot full of dust." As he moved on, he found a fishing hook on the ground, but it had no fishing pole. He picked it up anyway, put it in his bag, and declared loudly, "Thank God for giving a starving man a fishing hook with no fishing pole." After many days of walking without food, his path ended at the side of a river that was so large that he could not see the other side. The hungry man fell to his knees at the bank of the river and prayed resoundingly, "Thank God for leading a starving man to a river that is so great that there is no hope of crossing to the other side." As starvation gripped him, he opened his bag, tied the fishing hook to the broken string on the hunting bow, and using it as a fishing pole, caught himself a large fish. He used the dried tree branches to make a big fire and cooked the fish in the old pot. One of the morals of this story is that we should make use of what we have or what is available to us. Many times we encounter unnecessary challenges because of two things. One, we fail to be thankful for what we have. And two, we are reluctant to use what we have. Note that the little things that seemed to be of no significance to the man in the story became useful in preparing a meal for him. because he made use of them. Note also that he thanked God for everything he found, no matter how insignificant it looked. Then, when he could not go any further, he used what he had to prepare a meal. The story of the feeding of the 5,000 is another example of giving thanks and using what is available. When Jesus looked around and saw the large crowd, he asked Philip, "Where can we buy bread to feed all these people?" Jesus already knew what he was going to do, but I think he asked that question to test Philip's faith. Don't you think so? Philip replied, 200 silver pieces would not be enough to buy bread for each person to get a piece. Then Andrew, another disciple, said, "Here is a little boy with 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish, but that will not be enough to feed such a large crowd." Jesus asked them to have the people seated. Then Jesus took the bread, gave thanks, and fed the people who were seated. He did the same thing with the fish, and everyone ate as much as they wanted. After the people ate and were full, Jesus asked his disciples to gather the leftovers so that nothing would be wasted. They were able to fill 12 baskets with leftover. Note that Jesus gave thanks for what he had before he used it, and the outcome was successful. Sojourners, you might be going through some rough times that you think you cannot overcome. But look around. What is it that you have that you can use? When you find it, give God thanks and use it. This pandemic has pushed many of us through some challenging circumstances. But whatever it is that is affecting us, let us use what we have and make a difference on our journey. When we humble ourselves, give thanks for the little that we have, and use it, we often find ourselves drinking from our saucer because our cup overflows. Our humility causes God to bless us in abundance. God has a plan for every one of us. He can take the meager things of life and turn them into something marvelous. Sometimes it may seem impossible to work with the little we have, but little is much when God is in it. We just need to bring God's attention to what we have. Trust Him, and He will turn it around beyond our wildest imagination. We all know the story of David killing Goliath. David did not complain about the height of Goliath or the lack of needed artillery. He only had a sling and a stone, but he knew that God was with him, and he used them to defeat Goliath. Think outside the box and ask yourselves some questions. How will I survive these difficult times? What can I do to improve the situation? What can I do with the little that I have? Sojourners, If we hope to achieve anything as we move from here to there, we must accept our challenges and confront them as we would react to an opponent. Arthur Ashe, a black tennis legend who grew up in a period that was deeply ingrained with racism, did not allow others to place boundaries on his potentials. He used his skill to make a big difference. These are his words, and I quote, "To achieve greatness, start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can." End of quote. Sojourners, on our journey, we must start where we are, with what we have. So, whatever you choose to do, I implore you to develop that mindset to be successful. Making excuses should never be an option. Giving up should never be an option. Quitting should never be an option. Sojourners, remember, whenever we have situations that we can't overcome, there is likely to be someone worse off than us. There is an opportunity awaiting us out there. We might be reluctant to start because we fear that others will laugh at us, or we think we may fail. But we just need to access what we have. Think of what we can do with it and make a start. If we stumble or fall, let us get up, shake the dust off, and move forward. We should not let the time it will take to accomplish something prevent us from making a start. Sojourners, let us not place limits on ourselves, nor set boundaries around our potential. If we try something and it does not work, think of something else and try again. Be innovative. Be creative. Be positive. And focus on what you want to achieve. Then use what you have even when it seems insignificant to you. God bless you. If you enjoy this video, please click the like, share, and subscribe tabs below. Also, you may click the bell to be notified whenever I post other videos. Thank you.